Welcome, everybody, to Penguin Worldwide Reviews. I'm Chris.
And I'm Daniel.
Wah. We just got back from watching A Clown in the Cornfield. And Daniel, why don't you give them a little rundown of what this movie was all about?
All right. Well, this movie starts off with taking place in 1991, a little bit of a flashback to the time. And it kind of just really quickly throws in a couple that gets killed by this killer clown. They go in there trying to, go make love or something. They're drinking, all this stuff happening in 1991. and then it jumps to modern day real quick. Says just today or like now. So you imagine the 2025, 2024 era whenever they were making this. And it starts with this, the story is about this girl named Quinn and her father Glenn that moved to this new town. Takes place in
Midwestern America. Flyover town. What was the name of the town? Meddler or Settler or something?
Something. We'll put it up on the screen.
They'll flash and big old bold
boom
text.
Yeah, it takes place here. Woohoo! And it's the generic kind of in the middle of nowhere, like really nothing to do kind of town.
Bunch of cornfields, that's for sure.
A bunch of cornfields. The coolest thing they got going is like this little parade for Founders Day that is like their own custom holiday, kind of made from their own president. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's about her, Quinn, and she just moved into the town, and so she's getting used to it. You can tell she's already hating it because there's no internet cell service and stuff like that, and so she's struggling to kind of grasp the out of touch like zone, I guess. And she quickly meets a couple of the townsfolk. One was this neighbor named Rust, who kind of introduces her to the school and a little bit to the town. And he's kind of like an off character, as they say in the movies, like a redneck. He likes to hunt. He's kind of real in his own world, kind of too, kind of real
outsider,
silent. Yeah. Kind of not in with the crowd. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then in the school, you get a good introduction to a lot of other characters. What are some of these characters' names?
Let's see. We got Cole. He's kind of like the leader of the group. He's one of the popular kids, or at least part of this group that's just a bunch of troublemakers. And then we got Janet. She's a little blonde-haired one. She gives Quinn a little bit of attitude, but they kind of just keep...
Yeah, she's kind of the diva of the group.
Yeah, a little bit. And then you got Ronnie, one of her friends. She was okay. She's just kind of...
She's kind of like one of the comedic relief characters.
A little bit,
sure.
Yeah. She had a little moments later on. Then you got Tucker and Matt. They kind of like to play pranks on each other and set up scenarios for their videos that they make. This group here, they make a bunch of internet videos based on the clown, like the mascot of the town. Mm-hmm. And they like to make little slasher videos and put them up, and they like to prank each other and have a good time like that.
Yep. And these kids they're kind of troublemakers, as you said. They've kind of are a little infamous with the adults in town, like the sheriff and the teachers and all these other adults kind of just like frown when they see them because, they've caused some problems in the past with trespassing, and these videos that they film, they've kind of gotten into trouble with the surroundings and everything, and they're put under blame for burning down this factory that was really important to the town. And so they that's put on top of them. So immediately they're always getting blamed for things, and they're not like completely innocent, but they're very quick to be blamed. And so it becomes kind of this adult versus teenager type trope, I guess. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah. And the main the folklore of the movie was about the clown Baypen, or Friendo, as he's kind of referred to as. Baypen is kind of like his his marketing name, and then Friendo is what like the town people call him.
Yeah, kind of like the nickname that's coming up for him.
Yeah, and he's kind of like a folklore type entity almost. Like that's how they try to make it out to be. Like they know like something is up with this clown, and like they film these videos. They're inspired by the teens are inspired by it, so that's why they make these killer clown videos. And yeah. So that's typically the story, very quickly in a nutshell.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. So let's go through some of the characters real quick. We'll just do a quick assessment of how they did. Start with Quinn. What'd you think of her?
She was good. I think she was kind of like she has this like trope, I guess, where she's kind of aware of like things that are happening. Like she's talking like she's in a horror movie, and she's like, kind of whenever she's in a situation, she's like, fuck it. Like, you gotta be kidding me type thing. So her character was done pretty well. Her relationship with her dad and everything is kind of stereotypical, I guess. She's kind of like, he doesn't understand me, and then
Yeah, she has to play that teenager role.
Yeah.
She fights and sneaks out and fights with her dad, and mad that she got moved against her will out there in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. And then let's talk about her dad real fast. Dr. Glenn.
Dr. Glenn. He's a character that kind of grew on me, I guess. Like he has a lot of development, I guess, through the movie. So he's just a doctor that comes to town. He's real like kind of he looks like he's always guilty of something. Like, he didn't want to move there. He's a nervous type character. In the beginning, he's like making a coffee and he's like holding the pot, and
he has a 10-mile stare. He's like, he's way out of it.
He's way out of it. He hasn't even done anything yet in the town, so it's kind of, it's like, geez.
Yeah, he's overwhelmed already.
So it leaves you like kind of at the beginning wondering like, how's he gonna be throughout the rest of the movie. I think it's done well too later on.
Yeah, like he does like not approve of Quinn's relations and what she's up to, because she's getting in trouble immediately upon entering this town, and he frowns on it, so he's kind of trying to play a strict dad, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess I think he did okay too. I'd say both of those two did pretty decent. Then we got Cole. What did you think of him? Yeah.
He's cool. He's kind of like the mellow one of the group. Like, he's like a rich kid in the town, so like everybody kind of likes him already. And but he's like, except he's the one that invites Quinn to the group and everything, and he's like talking to her, kind of vents to her and lets her vent. So he was
pretty good. I think like I was kind of worried that the whole town was gonna treat her like an outsider, but they kind of did bring her in real quick to their group. They prank her, but then after that she's kind of in, and I don't know. She made friends real fast.
Yeah. So it was cool that they trope didn't like leave them to isolating her, and they brought her in and gave her friends right away. So it was cool. He was a good initiator, kind of like a love interest as well. So
then we have Rust. I think they kind of set him up as like a red herring, like, because it is kind of like a who's doing this kind of murder mystery at first. So it is kind of like a who could be behind the mask, So yeah, I think him being outside of the group and outside of like on his own,
Yeah, he's like a hunter.
So you thinking he has the skills to do it?
He's got a big build, and
yeah, because you see the clown lift up people with like a machete or something. So yeah. So he was possible for the role of Friendo.
Yeah.
Then we have the sheriff. What did you think of him? How did he play the role?
I think he played his role good. For what he is, he's like the stereotypical like sheriff that's kind of like picking a side and like doesn't I don't know, like douchey type of stereotypical cop.
He's like, damn teenagers.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
So
then we had Janet, one of the little group there.
The blonde one. Yeah. Yeah, she was the typical like character as well. Like, all these characters are pretty
they're
simple,
tropey.
Yeah,
for sure.
She's the popular one. At least that's what they kind of try to put off. She's not really even that like popular among like everybody in the school or anything, but she's within their group. Everyone kind of listens to her a little bit. She bosses people around a little bit, but it's never like. And I guess she's the she records the videos and posts them, so she's kind of like she like pulls the strings a little bit.
Yeah, she's kind of like a mean girl though sometimes, like
Yeah.
trash talking a bit. Then we had Ronnie. Yeah, she had some like funnier moments later on in the movie.
Yeah.
She kind of had a slow start, but then once this group starts getting whittled down, she has her moments.
Yeah.
About Tucker
and Matt, they're
put
two
them
characters
together.
that,
Put them together.
they're on screen very quickly for a very short amount of time, and I
didn't mind them. I
I was kind of sad when one of them died, but they're fine. Like, they're only on screen for so long, and they had so much to work with, and I think that the little bit of time they were on screen, they kind of sold it.
Right.
Because like Tucker's kind of like this geeky kind of guy, I guess he's like a musician, and then he likes he's like the one that kind of looks forward to these pranks and everything, and he's running around like he's getting chased by the clown, or at least like thinks he's getting chased by the clown. He's carrying a Nerf gun around. So,
yeah, what's that?
Yeah,
he's like, well, he thought he was getting pranked by
his friends. Yeah, so
yeah,
and then Matt was like this gym bro type guy, and a little bit. That was kind of his jokes.
Yeah,
he's a big dude.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I thought those two could have been in there longer because they had kind of like they're interesting characters at least.
Yeah,
they could have done something later.
They didn't even get like a real moment to shine. So
no, yeah, they just got axed.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of axing, how did you like the kills in this movie? It being like a slasher movie, what'd you think?
It was, if I were to rate it like this out of 5, like the kills and the slasher elements of it.
Just out of 5? Okay, let's go.
Yeah, like just out of 5.
5 being tops?
Yeah, okay. Give it like a 1, 1.5 or something. Wow. And like, it just, the kills are like really nothing. But there was one really good one. Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit later, but there's just nothing different there. It's just kind of stabbing and like shooting, even like gunshots. And
yeah, mine wasn't high either. I gave it a 2.
Give it a 2
with that rating system. Yeah, I give it a 2. Yeah, it's basic slasher movie kills.
And it's not even that many really.
Yeah,
so yeah, but
let's see, I'll see. I'm trying to think of my favorite one. There's the one he's lifting weights.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, that's mine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because he holds like a saw just below the.
Yeah, his bar, but bench pressing machine. Yeah, so. And that was cool.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
So I think it goes right into a trash can.
Yeah, but then the head just pops off. Yeah. It's like it's a saw. You got a saw.
Yeah, it doesn't just cut right through. But yeah, I think that was like the most creative one. Yeah, you kind of tell what was gonna happen.
Yeah, like the moment where he starts struggling as the clown's pushing it down. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So that one stuck out to me, and like that's it though. Like out of creative ones, like that's the most creative one. I think. I don't think there was anything else more other than like one of the villains getting tased in the mouth until he dies.
Right, that was kind of decent. I think that was alright.
The effects on it were pretty good. You can kind of see like the taser through the mouth.
Were not bad. The effects were not bad.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the overall story? Did they have a good enough story to carry this movie? Movie was only like an hour and 36 minutes.
Yeah, it didn't feel. It felt like way longer.
It did feel longer. I was like,
I was
looking at my watch a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. And I knew the movie was going to be a little short, so I was like, dang, it's feeling like it's taking a long time. But
I wanted it to fly by, but it kind of. It's like, really?
So, and like it was fine. I think until like near the end, it kind of just threw a lot of what it was building up away a little bit and just kind of ended. So, and I feel like that's what a lot of these movies have done. These horror movies. Like I was thinking of The Monkey a lot this whole time.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that too.
It's also a movie based on the books, on a book series, so it's kind of I saw the connections. But yeah, this one is more based kind of like in reality in a sense, not like an evil force. Like the clowns aren't these evil beings of time or whatever, like Pennywise. Or
you weren't sure about that till like a certain moment in the movie because he's charging at them and then he takes a shot.
Yeah, and he's gun.
A shotgun, and you're like, oh shit, is he gonna get up? Does he have superpowers? Nah, but no. So, what would you put a storyline on that same rating, 1 to 5?
Like a 2, I guess, because I was into it at the beginning. I think like the build up to him was kind of cool, and then it just kind of became basic, and then it was.
Yeah, I put the story at a 2 as well, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think it had some nice set pieces. Like, you hear clown in the cornfield, you're like, okay, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a clown in the cornfield. But I don't know. I just felt like it didn't live up to, my expectations, I guess. But if anyone else liked it, that's fine. But I just had kind of... And I was kind of worried going into it. But I was okay. It was okay. It wasn't...
I didn't really expect a whole lot out of it going in, so... Especially after just coming off of watching Sinners and Thunderbolts, it was kind of like... It wasn't going to match any of those. So, like, I didn't go in expecting a whole lot, but yeah, it was fine overall. Like,
was there anything in there that you didn't like that stands out to you? Stuff you didn't like in this?
Stuff I didn't like outright dislike. I don't know. It kind of.
And it's like for me, like it's not even the fault of the movie because I know what they were trying to do, but like her Quinn's whininess a little bit. Like, it was kind of getting me, like, oh my god, okay. But that's how I get with feelings anyway. So you bring up feelings, I kind of tune out. She's just a little emotional.
Yeah?
A little bit. I was like, oh, come on.
I guess. I guess.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just like a cold-hearted lizard person.
Because you deal with that with your own family, so.
It's too many feelings.
You've seen this story before.
It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Brat kids.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like because this movie, I mean, it seemed like, because, went to 1991, so you think it was like a 90s set piece, but then it goes to modern day, and there wasn't any like pop culture real like references or anything in this movie, which I was kind of expecting when they were doing that.
Yeah.
But no, it's like there's really nothing that separates, and it explains that obviously in its setting, but.
Yeah, I mean, they almost really could have thrown away that whole like flashback part. It didn't really play too much of a part.
No, other than to show that it's been happening, I guess, for a while.
It's
but
a reoccurring thing in this town.
So like, I don't know. I feel like it had potential to do a little bit more with like modern time-ish stuff. I don't know what they would have done, but it didn't come up really at all. So. I don't know.
So is there anything you want to highlight? Anything that really stood out as something great? Oh my god.
Oh, do you have something
something great?
Something great? Yeah.
No, I think a lot of it was just mid at best, which is kind of sad. Some of the humor in there was okay. I laughed a couple times. Which, if that's what they're going for, so they got me a couple times. But some of it is kind of like reacting in a way that you really wouldn't react in that situation.
Yeah. I will say, I think, after thinking about it, I think I did like the characters. I did like these teens. I didn't know if I was going to like them at the start, but they kind of grew on me, and it was fun following them around and do this event and everything. So the characters were enjoyable for me at the very least.
Yeah, they did do a good job of like they're playing all of them are playing tropes, but they did it with enough of their own style and to make it like okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
We think of the villain,
the clown.
Yeah.
Clown's
disease.
It's all right. I think it like the idea was okay. Kind of reminded me of Children of the Corn, but in reverse, because in the Children of the Corn, they all kill the adults, like children kill the adults. This one, it's kind of reversed.
Oh, okay.
And then, like, and then every time you have a clown in a movie, it's going to bring up comparisons to, like, It, And that's a better clown. Wow, because now you got to compare it to all the clown killers.
Yeah.
It's ranking really low.
Gotcha.
Because it's so easily to get rid of.
Yeah. And it really, like, at the beginning when they show one of the first kills, it kind of shows you that it's going to be kind of meek a little bit because he has, like, these squeaky shoes.
Oh, yeah.
before he goes for the kills.
They could have done more of that. Like if they want to do cartoony kills, like freaking Tom and Jerry type crap, like with a sledgehammer or something, like a huge wooden mallet. That'd have been fun too. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's kind of a wasted opportunity to do.
Yeah.
Real crazy kills.
And since they were all like, these mortals, these clowns are mortals. It kind of, I enjoyed a little bit of that. Like when the one gets shot and he's dead. Like I was like, okay, he didn't get back up. But just more came out. So I kind of liked that it didn't go for that. Like, oh, it's just one super evil clown guy. It's like a bunch. So that made it at least made it a little bit interesting in that way. Yeah, its own thing.
All right. Anything you want to spoil? Anything you were going to talk about earlier?
Well, okay, we'll dip a toe into spoilers. So you even pulled, you'd said to me in the theater, like, do you know who it is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, so all of these characters have a, like again, with a rust at the beginning, it's kind of meant to pull you to think that, oh, is he the clown? Is he the... And it has a lot of characters like that, and kind of is most of these characters. But there is one in charge, and when you said your guess, I didn't know. I completely forgot about that character. Boom. So I was like, oh yeah,
I got it right. Oh, yeah, but not for the same reason. Like the motive was different than what I thought. I thought he was going to be. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it. We'll let the audience tune into that one. Okay. Is it worth going to the theater though?
Is it worth? I think it's worth. I think that it's not like bad, because I went in thinking it was gonna be bad and like kind of a waste, but no, it was all right. It's kind of like, again, it's kind of like the Monkey, or I guess a little bit better than it, I guess, where it wasn't as like a what the heck type of movie. It was just kind of, it had a little story to tell. It had like the book, I guess, that was telling. And from what I heard, there's multiple of those books, so there might be some sequels later or something.
All right.
So, yeah, it was all right.
I don't know if I would tune into those. Ooh. I wouldn't say I'm a super fan of Friendo.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so I would kind of just like it to have a little more personality, because it does kind of fall into the like just slasher film without like a very iconic, and the fact that it's spread out over a lot of people and kind of dampen the staying power of that enemy. I like the music box though. That was a cool little
music box. Yeah. That's so cheesy.
Yeah, but that's what you need to have.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you rate this movie, Cruz? What did you think out of 10? Because that's how we do things here.
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
4.8.
4.8. All right. So below mid.
4.8.
4.8.
Wait.
Oh.
What did you think of this movie?
I also was probably right there, like a 4.9.
Whoa, you loved it. A point.
One
more. Okay.
Yeah, just the ending kind of messed it up a little bit.
Kind of fizzled it.
Yeah, and like tried to go somewhere and then it didn't, and then it just ends. So yeah, I don't know. Like it's that type of thing where they just didn't have it planned out, I guess. And I guess since it's a book series, they don't. They had to
stretch it.
Yeah, it's like okay, no definitive ending, no anything really. So
yeah, it kind of felt like the whole thing kind of ran out of gas pretty early on.
Yeah,
which is sad, but. We made it through.
Made it through, and it wasn't like the worst time. The characters were good.
It wasn't even that bad, but it just wasn't fun. And you should have some fun with this, And some of it wasn't fun. Some of it was okay, but
yeah,
I didn't get over that hill for me.
But let's not just take our words for it. I'm gonna go ahead and lead into what Rotten Tomatoes thought of this. Rotten Tomatoes. So they do things on a 0 out of 100% scale. What do you think the critics thought of this movie?
Critic score. Critics probably didn't like it too much. I would say I'll say pretty low, maybe 40%.
40%. All right. Well, via the tomato meter at the current time, it is at a 73%.
Whoa! What the hell? What movie did they see? Just kidding.
So I'm honestly, surprised for a horror movie trope and things like that. They I guess they've really been enjoying movies lately, and this is tomato meter, so they don't.
Do they have one of the critics' review right there, like to read?
Let me pull one out. Let's see.
I just want to hear what the hell did they like about it. Just read the top one.
Let's see. The sly throwback to 90s slashers loses steam by the end, but the journey there is well worth the ride. Trace Truman.
All right, good job, Truman. You saw the movie too.
Kevin A. Ranson says, subvert a few expectations, toss some raw meat to the horror fans, and you've got the makings of a good enough drive-in midnight feature that already has 2 sequel books teed up for a film trilogy. Oh my god. Okay, you were... I don't know about a trilogy, but... yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, it seems like... I mean, based on those two, it's like they saw it, they liked it, but...
I wonder if they were fans of the book and if it does justice to the book, like the series. I don't know how. I don't know.
You want me to find like a negative one?
Nah, I think we're okay.
Okay, well, too bad.
Okay.
Nicholas says it may not be a total misfire, but it's definitely not the sharp reinvention it could have been.
Okay.
So they saw missed potential.
Yeah, so it was definitely trying to be like a throwback to the old thrillers, which we kind of feel that when you watch it, you do feel like, yeah, okay, it's just a slasher movie.
Right.
What about the audience?
The popcorn meter.
Popcorn meter.
What are you guessing?
Well, I think they liked it better than the critics, and the
critics was 73 out of 100.
So you're thinking a little bit higher, maybe 76.
76? 60%.
Oh,
the
audience. So lower.
A very rare case for the audience, I think, is lower than the tomato meter. So, yeah, I mean, it kind of fits in with how we felt, too, I guess. Like, probably people have seen a lot of it and just kind of...
Yeah, if you're hoping for, like, a, 70, movie in that range, and then you get a 60 or a 50 or a 40, you're going to be like, yeah, that's not what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
So, okay. Makes sense.
But enough to where they still liked it.
Yeah, like, generally. Okay, so IMDb.
Right.
Your turn to guess.
All right.
And they have the out of 10.
Out of 10, okay. So, let's see. I'm going to assume that maybe they weren't as interested as Rotten Tomatoes, so probably like a 60% or 6.3 out of 10, just because I think maybe they're kind of more like the audience for Tomato Meter or Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, damn, you almost nailed it because it's a 6.2.
Oh no!
You missed it by one.
Oh man,
you're such an idiot. All right, so that's.
Oh yeah, they only have that, huh?
Yeah, they only have the one.
Yeah,
but let's see.
They got a review. One you can.
No, they don't have any reviews.
Oh, they don't publicly show what they say.
See if you could get another review while I look up the box office for.
All right.
Cornfield.
I'll go and check one of the audience things where they're saying, oh, they have a star rating for them, which is interesting. Let's see. I'm gonna go and read a 2-star review. Brian B says, felt like a Disney Channel scary movie for high schoolers at a rated R level, if that makes any sense. I do in the first 3 minutes that this movie is not going to be a hit.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of these say like it's a good introductory like horror film for like modern teens and like people of this generation, which I guess makes sense. Like you gotta know of teenagers nowadays, like and their horror movies, like what they go to see, what they'll remember as a slasher movie.
Yeah,
this is gonna be one of them, so I guess it's not terrible, but yeah.
Yeah, some. I won't get into that. Okay. So we'll just real quick look at the box office for this movie. See if people are going to the movies to see it. So, Clown in the Cornfield has grossed $6.8 million worldwide. Its domestic box office performance is $6.3 billion. So yeah, the film opened on May 9th. And it made 3.6 in its opening weekend.
Not bad.
Not bad considering It was made on a budget of under $1 million. So that's all.
Made sense.
Yeah.
They didn't have a lot.
They made it cheap, and it's making pretty good return on what they invested in. Yeah, they didn't really have any stars, I would say, in this. And for that, like, all the actors did pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So for not being famous actors, they did a good job.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a good start for maybe some
little budgety type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, that's what horror can do. You can make a cheaper movie, and yeah, some of those iconic horror movies are made real cheap.
Yeah, especially when the setting is a cornfield.
Yeah, yeah, and you have that in a barn.
Yep. In a meek town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should be able to get that done cheap.
Cool.
All right. So, is there anything to leave off with? Any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. No.
Anything about the themes of this movie? Did anything hit you in the face?
Make sure you know how to drive a stick shift.
Yeah.
Which I don't, so that kind of, maybe I will look up a YouTube video.
Learn. And just,
on the off chance that you're being chased by killer clowns and you hop into a car, you can't drive it because it's a stick shift. You don't want to be, sitting there stuck. So.
My takeaway is if you find a little music box on your chair when you didn't see anyone put it down, don't play it. It's not gonna, I don't know. Nothing good can come out of it. A little Jack in the Box, you don't crank those and find out. All right, so Daniel, do you recommend this movie?
I can say I do recommend it if you really just want to see a little quick horror flick. This will do it.
All right, and for me, I do not recommend
Ooh.
it. It's a thumbs down for the recommend.
Dang, you're one below me, but that changed our recommendation and non-recommendation. Interesting.
I mean, let's hope this. If they're gonna make more, let's hope they wrangle in a better time at the movie theater. For sure, maybe catch it on streaming or something, but there's no hurry to watch this one. Nothing iconic.
I don't think everyone is gonna be talking about it. I don't think it's starting things, but if you really need to watch something, I think it can kind of fit that little mood.
True. All right. Well, that's going to do it for Clown in the Cornfield.
Sweet.
I've been Chris.
And I've been Daniel.
Wah.